Greetings, this is the Crunchy Fan. This is part 2 of What If Female Deku with Albedo. Now, to cover some bits I missed, Albedo looks exactly like she does in the in the Overlord show, and her hero outfit is the armor that Albedo wore in Overlord. Here's a little sneak peek to what it looks like, and here we go, we're continuing. So we pick up off where All Might says that Albedo can be a hero. But Albedo refuses All Might's offer for One For All, with her saying that she knows somebody who is more worthy of it, and if you're wondering who I'm giving One For All to, I'm going to be giving it to Momo. So, once Izumi gets home, she tells Momo about One For All, her knowing a good spot where they can train, and the next day they both go to Dagobah Beach, with them seeing All Might there in his buff form, and Izumi explaining that All Might will be training them for the 10 months. And All Might says that their training regimen will be to clean all the trash from Dagobah Beach. So as they're doing that, they're also doing a little bit of training at home, with Albedo practicing on fighting with her axe and increasing her endurance so that she can use the Wall of Jericho a lot more. And she also trains to increase her speed and damage as well, and the damage she can do, while also making her own hero costume as well. So we'll fast forward 5 months to where they've cleaned up the beach, and All Might offers One For All to Momo, where he plucks out one of his hairs, and he says, "Eat this." Now, then All Might explains that One For All is passed down by ingestion of the DNA of the previous user. So Momo accepts One For All and eats the hair, and the rest of the 5 months then spent training Momo to use One For All a lot more effectively. So we'll cut to the end of the training, to where the entrance exam is, and Izumi and Momo both take the recommendation test, and they both pass the Rin with flying colors, and Albedo and Momo both pass the physical exam with flying colors as well, with them both getting their letters a week later from UA saying that they both got into Class 1A. And as they go to UA the next week, they both find they both get there before everyone else, and they just sit there and wait for everybody else to show up. So then once everyone else showed up, Bakugo then sees Albedo at the back of the classroom, and storms over to him and says, "What are you doing here, you damn villain? I thought they didn't let villains like you into UA." And Izumi, who's not taking any of Bakugo's bullshit, basically says, "Look, Bakugo, I am not putting up with you anymore, okay? I am not dealing with your bullshit today. So if you don't mind, I'd like you to go somewhere else and then have someone else stroke your ego for you while you wait. Now, Bakugo gets pissed at this, and before he could launch an explosion at Izumi, he tried to launch an explosion at Izumi, but nothing happened. As he turns around to find Aizawa, as we know him as Eraserhead, behind him with his quirk active, and says, "If you have an attitude like that, you're not going to be a hero anytime soon. Hello, I'm Shota Aizawa. I am your homeroom teacher." As Albedo and as everybody who was at the class is shocked to find that their homeroom teacher looks like a homeless man, which, let's not lie, Aizawa low-key looks like a homeless guy. As Aizawa then says, as Aizawa then takes out one of the UA gym uniforms, saying, "Alright, here are the uniforms now. Now go down to the testing grounds. Go and get changed and then go down to the testing grounds." Which Izumi, Albedo, and Momo grab and then walk down to the girls' changing area, where Albedo notices a hole, and then in order to block, she actually hears Mineta talking about the hole in the wall and saying that and realizes that he's going to peek through it. So she covers the hole with one of her wings. And when Mineta looks in there, he only sees nothing. He doesn't see anything because Izumi's wings are covering it. And Momo and Jiro and Momo and all the girls thank Albedo for her quick thinking. So when they go out to the testing grounds, while they get changed, the girls notice that Momo and Albedo are quite physically fit, and then they do have a few muscles here and there, on their body. And they ask how they get that, and Albedo and Momo look at each other and say in unison, "Hard work and effort." So once they go out to the training grounds, Mineta, being the purse is eyeing up both Albedo and Momo, noticing much bigger Izumi's assets are compared to Momo's. And if you're wondering, yes, I'm going to expel Mineta. So, as Aizawa then threw the ball towards Albedo, saying, "You got first place in the entrance exam," as Bakugo then says, "What? How could a damn villain like her get first place in the exam?" As Albedo then points out all the things that got her into first place, like that she is smarter than Bakugo and that she is basically physically stronger than him without using her quirk. So when Izumi gets into the circle, she goes to throw the ball, and Aizawa tries to disable her quirk, but it doesn't work, mainly because her strength is from her mutation quirk. The ability like the Wall of Jericho and all that are part of the emitter half. So, if you're wondering why Izumi can still throw the ball very far, even when her quirk is disabled, you'll know why. So, Izumi threw the ball, and she gets about 18,000 meters, or kilometers. I don't remember the exact measurements they used in the show. If you know, then you can correct me in the comments. He throws the ball and gets 80,000 meters or kilometers. And Bakugo gets pissed and says, "I'm going next. What the hell did you do, you damn villain?" As he charges towards Albedo to try and attack her. But just before Aizawa could stop him, Albedo was already right in front of Bakugo and punched him right in, like, where the rib cage and the gut begins. Yeah, she punches her there, causing Bakugo to be knocked out for a bit. And at this point, everybody is just in shock at how powerful Albedo is. So, through the other tests, the only one that Izumi didn't get first place in was the ball throw test, but everything else she got first place in. And when the score is tallied up, everybody's shocked to find that the placements are these: Albedo in first, Momo in second, Shoto in third, Bakugo, Ida in fourth, and Bakugo in fifth, and everybody else had their original placements in canon. And they find that Mineta is last on the leaderboard, and as Awa says, "Minoru Mineta, you are expelled from UA. Pack up your things and then leave." And Mineta and that's the last we'll ever see of Mineta. So, as they're going back, they continue with the rest of the day, and then they hear, at the end of the day, they hear running down the hall, and then All Might busts through the door saying, "I am here, coming through the door like a normal person." And everybody is just fanning over that All Might is their teacher, while Albedo and Momo are fanning a little bit. Momo, as I covered in the first part, Albedo is more of a fan of Midnight and Mirako. And here, as All Might says, hero isn't a hero without their costumes. And as he presses the button, suitcases come out having the costumes of everybody in there. So as they get changed and go to ground beta, as everyone's out, Albedo's the last to come out, and they see her in essentially something like her in this. And everybody questions why she is in a suit of armor, as she explains that a part of her quirk is that she can redirect damage from herself to the clothing, to her anything that she's wearing. So, and is made out of 3 layers. The plate armor that they see on her, the male shirt that is underneath it, and the skin-tight liquid bodysuit that is underneath all of that. Now, when Bakugo hears this, he has a plan. So, to break through all but one of the layers of armor, so that Izumi is basically defenseless. And no, I mean the first layer, not the second or third layer. So, when that happens, lots are drawn, and Momo and Albedo are on the same team, and the opposing team is the same as in canon, Bakugo and Ida. And when lots are drawn, Albedo's team is the villains, and Bakugo's team are the heroes. where Bakugo starts laughing and says, "So, the one with the most villainous quirk here is the villain." Oh, that's funny. And once they go in, Albedo basically puts the bomb on the 5th floor and then lays out some traps to catch them both off guard, since this timeline she contains mental notes on people's quirks instead of writing them down physically. So she knows about Bakugo's fighting style and all that. And when All Might says go, Bakugo just runs off and Momo basically puts down some things like mines and bear traps and all that. And once Albedo goes to patrol halls, and she then finds both Ida and Bakugo in the hallway, and Bakugo tells Ida to go and get the bomb. I'll deal with her myself. And as Bakugo then opens up his palms to allow for a few explosions, he then says, "Doesn't matter if you've been through training or not, you're still weak compared to me." And Izumi responds with, "Bakugo, at this point you're basically all bark, no bite, so come at me." So Bakugo charges at her, and he then leads with a right hook, if I remember correctly, which is Albedo dodges, and then basically knees Bakugo right in the face, breaking his nose a little bit. So as Bakugo's bleeding from the nose, he's also thrown back quite a bit through a wall. And as he tries to get back up to dash towards Albedo, she's already right in front of him. And she then basically punches Bakugo in the gut repeatedly. And then Bakugo then gained some distance as he was then about to use his wrist gauntlets, which were filled with his sweat. And as he's about to pull the pin, All Might tells him to stop, that he's going to kill Albedo. And he says, "She's not gonna die if it's not a direct hit." If this Bakugo voice is cringy, I'm very sorry. So as that happens, Bakugo lets off the grenade, and as the explosion goes towards Albedo, she redirects all the damage to the second layer of armor, which is the mail shirt underneath it. And it does get a few dents in it, like a few holes in it, but it's not enough to destroy it. So as she stands up, she then stands back up. Her eyes are looking at Bakugo, and they're glowing the bright yellow that they normally glow when she is done with dealing with Bakugo, which she then summons her axe, but this version of her axe is dulled down, so it won't cut Bakugo in half as she hits him with it. So as she dashes with Bakugo, she's a lot faster, and Bakugo couldn't see it coming, so she hits him with the dulled blade of the axe and sends Bakugo into a wall, knocking him out, to where Albedo then puts the capture tape on Bakugo. And if you're wondering what happened with Momo and Ida still is currently struggling to get to Momo due to the mines and bear traps that she had put down. With Albedo then coming up from behind Ida, knocking him out and capturing him, with All Might saying over the intercoms, "Villain team wins." Now, when they get back there, everybody was impressed with Albedo and Momo's combat capabilities, and a lot of them asked, do they want to train sometime? With them saying, maybe sometime in the future, but not right now. With All Might asking who is the MVP, and a lot of people said that it was Momo due to her coming up with countermeasures and laying traps for the heroes, and Momo pipes up saying, actually it was Albedo who came up with the countermeasures. She has mental notes on Bakugo, which is why she went to go and fight him instead of me. And she was also the one who told me to lay out those countermeasures. So the MVP is given to both Momo and Albedo, and that's basically where their day ends, and that is where I'm going to end it off. So next part we'll be covering the USGA incident, so I will see you guys in the next part. Remember, if I've made any mistakes, you can always correct me in the comments below.